Welcome to the Roulette Master TV, where we go back in time to revisit incredible roulette systems of the past that were extremely popular on the channel. Today's system, the City of Gold, has 120,000 views on YouTube and is currently trending, and I hope you guys really enjoy this one. Here we go. This is the Roulette Master, and I'm about to reveal to you the new City of Gold roulette system by Patty. Patty says this is the best system you will ever use, and you will not believe it. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to play for the entire length of the video with this one system. I'm going to show you everything you need to know, and let's just go ahead and jump into it and get started. So we're going to start with $10 on first and second 12. No more bet. And here we go. Okay, that's a 29 black. Okay, and that's a loss. And when we lose with this system, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to double the bet and increase by 1 unit, but we're only going to do that on the first loss. So I'll show you how that looks. So we're going to go from 10 to 30. So now we have a $60 total bet. Now if we lose again, we're not going to do that, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. That's a 10 black. Okay, and that's a win. So with this system, if you get a win, and you haven't had a bet twice, we're going to go back. So we're going to go back to where we were at 10 each. I'll explain that more as we go through. Let's go ahead and spin. You'll understand it when you get to see it after a couple losses here. That's a 25 red. Okay, and that's a loss. So we double and add a unit. So now we're at 30 again. And here we go. That's a 24 black. But again, we're not going to do this after one loss. Once we have a second loss, it's going to change. So we're going to go back to 10 again. Once we get past the $30 level, I'll show you what to do next. And here we go. Okay, that's a 4 black. That's a win. So we just stay at 10 right now and get some $10 wins. We're up 30. No more bets. And here we go. So, and the whole problem with systems that increase by a lot after losses is that you could possibly lose your bankroll. And we're going to go back to 30 again. And this one starts just like a few of those systems that are risky, but it's going to change here if we have another loss. I'm going to share with you what to do next once we get a couple losses in a row. But right now we're getting wins, so we're going back to 10 each. We're up 40, and it's great if you can just stay, at the $10 and $30 level. But I'm going to show you what to do after that to protect your bankroll and still get the benefits of going from 10 to 30. We're up 50 now. All right, let's go ahead and spin. And that's a 33 black. That's a loss. So we go from 10 to 30. Double and add a unit, and we're going to see if we can play for the entire length of the video without having any issues because of the safety aspects of this, and that's why I wanted to do a longer version of a video today. We're going to go back to 10 though right now. Once we have a couple losses in a row, you'll get to see this new progression that I think you're going to absolutely love, and here we go. That's a 21 red, and that's a win, so we'll just stay at 10 right now. I'm sure we'll get a couple losses in a row here before long, and then you'll get to see what the real genius behind this is. And that's a 28 black. That's a loss. So we go from 10 to 30. I dropped us back to $50 profit, but as long as we're at the $10 and $30 level, we're still making money unless we have back-to-back losses like right there. Now you're going to see what comes next. So at this point, we're going to repeat that $30 bet. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, that's a 24 black. Okay, that's a win. So now we go back to the first $30 bet. Okay. Now let's spin. Okay, that's a 2 black. Okay, and that's a win. So now we go back to the original $10 bet. You can see we're back up to 50 again. But we're going to make some money here on these early bets when we get wins, just like we did there. That's a 23 red. Okay, that's a win. So we're up 60. Let's rebet and spin. Make sure you watch the whole thing because there's a lot of different aspects to this that you're going to need to know. And I'm telling you, this is a great way to play. And that's why I'm doing a longer version of it today. And that's a $10 win. We're up 70. And I'm sure a lot of you have, played things that are like triple martingale where you triple each time with 2 12s. That gets really dangerous with your bankroll. And this is a great option if you want to keep your bankroll. So let's go ahead and go from 10 to 30 again. And spin. And then you need to know what's going to happen if you lose the second $30 bet as well. Okay, here we go. That's a 2 black. Okay, and that's a win. So we go back to 10. So make sure you stick around for that. We're up 80. And here we go. And we need to cover bankroll and all that important stuff as well. So a lot to cover with this one, and you don't want to miss it. So let's go ahead and keep betting at 10 on first and second 12. It's been a while since I've done one system for the entire length of the video, but I think this one is worth it. So let's go ahead and now we're up 100. Let's rebet and spin. Here we go. That's a 31 black, and that's a loss. So we go back to 30. We're doubling and adding a unit. Those are $10 units. So we go from 10 to 30. That's a 34 red. We lost. Okay, so now we go to our second $30 bet. So the progression slows way down. And here we go again. That's a 14 red. That's a win, so we go back to our first $30 bet again. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. All right, here we go. That's 11 black. Okay, that's a win, so we go back to 10. You can probably already tell the first parts of this how safe it is compared to normal systems that triple every time or double every time. And that's a 4 black. And that's a win. So we'll keep picking up profit. We're up $90 already. And I can't wait to start using this one in the casino. I don't know about you guys, but obviously you want to see the whole thing first, right? So that's what we're doing today. And there's a lot more aspects to this, though, you're going to need to know. So the key is knowing what to do when you have a bunch of losses. And we're going to cover all that today, plus bankroll and all that good stuff coming up. And we're up $110. All right, here we go. Let's see what we get here. That's a 16 red. Okay, that's a $10 win. We're up 120. Let's rebet and spin. Here we go. That's a 27 red. That's a loss, so we go back to 30. Temporarily dropped us back to $100 profit, but that's okay. That's a win on 9 red. So we go back to 10. Okay, now we're up 130. Just piling up the profits without all the risk, and you're not gonna believe how safe this is once we get down into the nuts and bolts of this. And we're up 140. Let's rebet and spin. The progression is going to stay extremely low, and that's what we want. That's a 22 black, and that's a win. We're up 150. Let's rebet and spin again. This is one the casinos might not like too much because I can see this winning a lot of the time, and it's very safe. And let's go ahead and go from 10 to 30. And I actually won a bunch of losses, though, so I can show you how to deal with them. I'm sure we'll get some, and that's an 8 black. But for right now, we'll go back to 10. We'll keep making money with this. We're up 160. Because the whole thing with roulette is how do you deal with adversity, and this system deals with it fantastic, which hopefully I'll get to show you here in a second. And we're going to go from 10 to 30. Okay, we're up 140 after that loss, and here we go. That's a 2 black. Okay, that's a win at 30. We go back to 10. And again, we're up 170 now. And again, make sure you stick around. There's a lot more you need to know with this one, and it's one that you don't want to miss out on. That's a 26 black. That's a loss, so we'll go to 30 now. So we've already got through the first of two $30 bets, and then after that I'll show you what the rest of the progression is. That's a 1 red though, so we go back to 10. That's why we're doing it for the whole length of the video today. We're up 180. Let's go ahead and spin again. Okay, that's 11 black. That's a win. Okay, so now we're up 190. Let's rebet and spin. And I wanted to test it over a longer period of time today. That's a 14 red. Just to prove that it's as good as it looks. So that's what this is all about, is playing a system that you're comfortable with, that you feel like you won't lose your bankroll, and you can consistently make profit. That's what we all want, right? So we're up 210 now.
No more bets.
All right, let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. It's another win, 24 black. Fantastic. So we're up 220.
No more
All right,
bets.
let's spin again here. That's a 23 red. That's another win. Okay, we're up 230.
No more bets.
Let's rebet and spin. That's a loss right there, 36 red. So we're going to go from 10 to 30. And you've already seen that if you lose at 30, you stay at 30.
No more bets.
And then if we have another couple losses here, I'll show you what to do next. Either way, I'll cover it in this video. But that's a win right there. So we're going to go back to 10. And we're up 240. Well, this is just awesome, especially for a system that's not risky. And that's what we want, is to make a lot of money and not have a lot of risk, right? So that's what this is delivering right now. We're up 250.
No more bets.
Let's go ahead and spin again. Patty, this is dynamite so far, but I want to show everybody the later parts of the progression when if things don't go well, and I'm sure we'll get to that in the whole length of this video. We're up 260 because it's really important to know everything, and boy, it really lengthens the progression out. And there's a loss right there, so you'll probably see it here in a second. We're going to go to our first $30 bet, and again, you've already seen that if we lose here, we stay at 30. But we didn't lose that one, so we'll get there before long here, guys. Let's just enjoy the winning right now, and then we'll get to everything as we go through it. I think it's always best to explain things as you're dealing with the issues. That's why we're playing for a longer session today. And there's a loss right there with 00. So let's go from 10 to 30. And again, you guys have already seen if you lose here, you stay at 30, which really is a good way to start being safer. And now you're going to get to see it because, let's see, that was our first $30 bet, I believe. Yes, so we have one more 30 here. Okay, so if we lose this one, then we're going to, well, let's see what we get here first. Actually, we won that one. Okay, so we're going back to our first $30 bet now.
No more bets.
Okay, here we go. And if we don't get past the second 30, I'm going to show you what to do next here. But we won our first $30 bet now, so we go back to 10 again. Okay, we're back up 250. I'm sure we'll get there before long, guys. Hang in there. I will tell you the bankroll for this one is only $1,000. It's not $2,000. It's just $1,000, and that's for $10 units. So if you want to, and we're going to 30 here. After that loss, and if you want to play for less, you can just use basic math to change how much your bankroll should be. But obviously if you go from $10 units to dollar units, you just divide everything by 10. That's $100. So anybody can do that. And let's see what we had on that last one. That was at 30 and we lost. So this is our second $30 bet now. And if we lose this one, you're going to get to see the next thing that we do with this system. But we got the win there. So let's go back to our first $30 bet. Okay, we're up 200 now. Let's go ahead and spin. That's a 22 black. So we go back to 10 now. Okay, we're up 230. Let's go ahead and spin here. And there's a loss, 28 black. I know we're going to get around, some losses consecutively here, so just hang in there and we'll get to everything else. Like I said, it's best if you guys see it as it happens, so you know how to deal with it. And here we go. Okay, there's another loss, 28 black. So I knew we were going to have a string of losses here before long. So now we're at our second $30 bet, and let's go ahead and spin here. If we lose, then I'll show you what to do next right here. Okay, we got the win. So we'll go back one to the first $30 bet. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. Okay, there's a loss. So we're back to our second $30 bet. Okay, if we lose this one, I'll show you what the next bet is. Here we go. Okay, we won that one, so we're back to our first $30 bet again.
No more bets.
All right, let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. Okay, we got that one, so we'll be going back to 10 again. You can see that dropped us back in profit a little bit, but that's okay. That's part of the reason that this system is so safe and there's another loss there at 10. Let's go back to 30. It's because you don't get all of it back once you go higher up in the progression, but you still get to stay in profit, which is what you want. And there's a win at 30, so we go back to 10. All right, let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. Okay, there's a loss, 33 black, so we'll go back to 30. And spin. There we go. That's a 15 black, and that's a win. Okay, so let's go back to 10.
No more bets.
And either way, whether we get there or not, I'm going to share with you the progression coming up here. The full progression that you're going to need to know with this one. We're up to 10. Let's rebet and spin. Again, it's a $1,000 bankroll. You could also do a $100 bankroll with dollar units, and that's a loss right there with 27 red. So we'll go from 10 to 30. All right, let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. That's a 14 red. That's a win, so we go back to 10. We're up to 20, and let's spin. Okay, and that's a $10 win. Let's rebet and spin here. That's a 22 black. Another win, so we're back up to 240.
No more bets.
And keeping the bets low is so important to keeping your bankroll. And that's a 10 black. Another $10 win. All right, let's rebet and spin here. That's a 34 red. Okay, so we lost that one. So we go to 30.
No more bets.
And spin. Here we go. That's a 10 black. Okay, that's a win at 30, so we go back to 10. Again, if we don't get past the second 30, I will share everything with you. It's just I want you guys to see it as it happens. And I also want you guys to see a long version of this so that you understand how safe it is. Because a lot of systems wouldn't make it this long. In fact, we've been going a little over 18 minutes now. And
no more bets.
this is a great system that you can play for a long, long time without risking all your bankroll. And it's not as big of a bankroll as what you're probably having to use. And a lot of that's because of the safety aspects of it. And I'm sorry, let me go back to 10 each on that. All right, let's go ahead and spin. We're 19 minutes in on this and haven't had any issues yet. But I want you guys to see a long form version of this where the bankroll is not in trouble. And
No more
That's what
bets.
you're seeing right now, but don't worry, I'm going to go over everything. And that's a 15 black right there. Okay, so we're up 300.
No more bets.
Let's spin again. I'm sure we're going to have a run of some losses here eventually before we finish. So I want you guys to see it in real time, how to deal with it, so that when you have to deal with it, you have something to look back on. And let's see what we get here. That's 11 black. Okay, that's a win. We're at 320. And to be at $320 with the system that is very low risk with a smaller bankroll is pretty awesome. And there we go. There's a loss on 34 red. Let's go to 30 and spin. We're going to play till we have a bunch of losses in a row here. And that's a 1 red. Okay, so we'll go back to 10. We're up 330. And I'm going to show you that you can deal with a bunch of losses in a row with this system. That's a 14 red. It's another win. We're up 340. And let's spin. It's a 1 red. That's a win. Okay. We're up 350. And the main reason I want to show you in real time is so you can see that there is a little bit of a setback, but not much when you do have consecutive losses, and it's still well worth it. And we're going to go from 10 to 30 after that loss. And then I'm going to show you how to get it all back. Here we go. There's 2 losses in a row. Not that you want to lose, but now we're on our second $30 bet.
No more bets.
And we're keeping these bets as low as possible. Okay, we're going to go back to our first $30 bet now.
No more
Here we go. Let's see what we get here. Okay, now we're back to our second $30 bet.
No
All
more
right, let's
bets.
go ahead and spin. Okay, that's another loss. So now you're going to get to see it, guys, in real time here. So now we're going to double and add another unit. So we're going to go from 30 each to 70 each. So let's go ahead and do that. And
No more
spin.
bets.
So same thing as on the first one, we double and add a unit. And that's a win. Okay, so now we go back to our second $30 bet. Okay, let's go ahead and spin.
No more bets.
Because we got the win at 70. Okay, and that's a win, so we go back to our first $30 bet now.
No more
And
bets.
spin. Okay, that's a loss, so we go back to our second $30 bet now.
No more bets.
And spin. That's a win, so we go back to our first $30 bet now. And when you go to the second bets, it does set you back a little bit, but not enough to affect the amount of money that you've been making with this system. Okay, there's a loss. Okay, so we go back to that $70 bet.
No more
And
bets.
spin. If we lose this one, we'll do 70 again. And we did lose, so we'll do 70 again. So we're on our second $70 bet now. And now you're going to see how we deal with a lot of losses. And we're going to go back to our first $70 bet after that win there. So here we go.
No more bets.
And let's see if we can get our first $70 bet win. Okay, we got that. So now we're back to our second $30 bet. Okay, here we
No
go.
more bets.
We're on the second $30 bet. That's a win. Now we're back to our first $30 bet. Okay, back up 220, and here we go. And that's a loss. So we go back to our second $30 bet. And spin. Then we'll check our balance again after this one. Ooh, that's a loss there. So that was our loss on our second 30. So we double and add a unit. So that means we go to 70. So temporarily that dropped us back. But you'll see as we work our way back down that we get our profits back. Okay, that's a win there. So we go to our second $30 bet. And spin. All right, here we go. Okay, that's a loss. So we go back to 70. So now you're getting to see a really rough pattern here where we've had a bunch of losses. And then how we're going to deal with that. So here we go. That's a win. So we go back to our second $30 bet. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. There we go. That's a loss though, so we're going back to 70. All right, here we go. But if we were doing this and look, we had this many losses when we were tripling or doubling with every loss, we'd been in serious trouble right now. And let's go ahead and spin. And that's another loss. So we're going to our second 70. Okay.
No more bets.
Here we go. And that's another loss. So now we're going to 150. Okay, because we're doubling and adding a unit.
No more.
All right, here we go. Okay, that's a win there. Okay, so now we'll go back to the 70, the second 70, and spin. All right, here we go. That's a win, 16 red. So now we're back to the first 70. Okay.
No more bets.
All right, let's go ahead and spin here on the first 70. That's a win. So we go back to the second 30 now.
No more bets.
And spin, then we'll check our balance after this one. That's a win, so we go back to our first 30 now.
No more
And
bets.
spin. And that's a win, so now we go back to 10. And you can see, you'll be able to see here, we did have a setback. We're only up 190 now, but that's okay because once you get back to the $10 level, you can go back and forth between 10 and 30 a bunch of times. Like we just lost there, we're gonna go back to 30. But if you win on the $30 bet while you're going back and forth between 10 and 30, you're gonna really build it back up again. Just like we did right there. So every time we do that, where we go from 10 to 30 and back to 10, we're picking up extra profit. You can see now we're back up 200. So very important to realize that you don't have to get everything back when you're on a bad run. You just have to just lose a little so that when you can get back on track. And let's go from 10 to 30 now. And even if you're getting wins and losses between this 10 and 30 level, it's really building you up, just like it did right there again. That's a 21 red. So now we're back up to 210. See how that works? So you don't have to try to get everything back. This system grinds you back without, gives you a lot more chances to come back from a bad losing streak. And let's go ahead, and we're still at 10 and 10. We're up 220.
No more bets.
Let's go ahead and spin. And a lot of times you can cash out with this before something like that bad happens. In fact, as you guys saw, it took almost 20 minutes before we even had any kind of a sign of struggle. So we're up 230 now.
No more bets.
And then you realized, by watching in real time how to deal with that and being okay with, a small setback as long as we're still winning good money. And you can see we're back up to 40.
No more
Let's
bets.
go ahead and spin. Here we go. And that's another win on 17 black. So here we go again. 10 and 10. Again, this is a $1,000 bankroll system. You can do it for $100 with dollar units. And you just double and add a unit. Once you get to the $30 level, instead of betting once, then you bet twice with each bet. And then you go up, you double and add another unit. And again, there is small setbacks, but it leaves you with lots of profit because of all the profit that you're making off of the area between $10 and $30. And I just want to really thank Patty for sending this one in. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments as usual, and keep sending the systems in. I just think it's fantastic seeing your guys' new systems every day. And make sure to comment whether you like this or don't like it, or a way that it could be made better, because systems, even if they're awesome, can always be made better. So work on it. Let everyone know in the comments what you think. That's what it's all about. Let's keep growing this great community. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and give it a like if you're enjoying the video.